Dick and Dr. Juliet Kimemia, and let's come to you because you were just about to chime in into this conversation. And my question was on whether or not we still have faith that the National Dialogue Committee or whatever they are canvassing there will be of any consequence to Kenyans. Some of those things they're talking about would require change in our laws, a referendum. Whether or not that would be possible within the next few years, we still wait to see. A lot of that that they're talking about could take time, probably even if they manage to work on the IEBC. What Kenyans are facing right now in terms of the high cost of living may never be addressed by this team. Do you still feel that those talks will be consequential?
Thank you, Indimuli. I was very privileged to have been in the team that presented as Azimio, because like I told you, I belong to Kanu Party, and I joined the team led by the former governor of Laikipia to the dialogue committee. I was seated there. And if you can pay attention to what Azimio presented, the issue of cost of living was very, very thoroughly articulated, including models that can be put in place to just see to it that the cost of living has been brought down, including reviewing the finance bill and really making the government programs people-centered. There was a beautiful comparison between Kenya and Tanzania, the models that Tanzania is using, because Tanzanian economy and Ugandan, really our neighbors who are also affected by what we are affected by, are better. The economy is performing better. Their people are feeling better cushioned. And Derito presented a very beautiful 5-point PowerPoint, well thought out, including the issue, the justification, and the recommended actions. So I saw the dialogue really justifying itself as dialogue, because Cecily Baride was the chair representing the Kenya Kwanza side. Azimio was given extremely high respect. And to me, it was a win-win, because I felt tension diffuse, and I felt my ideology of love, peace, and unity just coming to the fore. So I have a lot of hope that once the committee sits and unpacks all those issues, the cost of living will be addressed, and we will see a review of the finance bill. Right now, I am going for I'm a member of the National Technical Team on the 2/3 gender rule. So we are having a meeting to just put our position paper together after this meeting with you people here. So to me, the dialogue was not a waste of time. I also participated in some of the demonstrations. You know, royalty is very important. In fact, I'll share with you a photo of me wearing that maroon kofia of Baba.
Okay.
So I feel that our agitation as Azimio has borne fruit, and Kenya is better, united, and there is a unity of purpose.
Okay.
Compared to same time last year.
Okay.
So we are progressing, and I just hope there's going to be tolerance, and like what my brother has said, the spending on recurrent and travel, according to the Auditor General's report, really is a very, very sad thing for a country that is struggling. So if they put in place the policies, because I saw the other day some directives that a minister should not go with a delegation of more than 5.
Just to ask her as she proceeds.
Let me finish.
You are a member of the technical committee.
I am. Can I finish?
Okay.
You are extremely rude to me.
You'll respond to that.
Yes. And allowances or no allowances, I believe I am a very, very seasoned and intelligent person to contribute to important debate. Okay. I'm not interested in allowances. Okay. I have earned enough to keep me alive and going for till the day I meet my maker. So to me, the national dialogue is on the right trajectory. Azimio as the main component was well taken care of. I was there, and I have a lot of hope in the leadership of Kalonzo Musyoka, Kimani Ichung'wah, Cecily Mbarire. I saw unity. Okay. And that is what I would like to preach in this country of ours. Do
you share the same hope that these talks will be of consequence?
I'm very sorry, I cannot be rude to Dr. What I wanted to make clear is that she said that she doesn't understand now what government is. She's actually part of a technical team of a government working on a government issue. Mm-hmm. So you'll find that everything that goes around in this country usually comes around. Because while we complain about ministers, we have also not volunteered ourselves to go and work for that government for free. So how do we expect ministers to work for free without allowances? I can tell you that doublespeak is the nature of Kenyans from the village to the state house on daily basis from all regimes we have had. Sometimes doublespeak comes because a question is brought, you answer it according to what you think as at that particular moment or what emotions are there, and then when emotions change, you answer them differently. Like we have just said here, the agreement which has come from Bomas is known. It's a public thing. The cost of living is not part of it. I think that is not a lie. And when she says that it will be for the interest of Kenyans, I don't know which Kenyans are these, because the cost of living was the main thing Kenyans were on the streets for. And what positions are coming out of Bomas is not for the Kenyans, it's for two people. In fact, it is two positions which are for two people, and that is what they were fighting over. And she looks at how representation was at Bomas. The last time I was on this table, it's good we were with you in Dimuli, I told you that there's nothing that's going to come from Bomas for the greater good of Kenyans. And it is true, I'm vindicated again today, that what discussions are in Bomas were meant to bring the two together. You have today seen...
So in as far as that is concerned, at least they've been of consequence.
They are not of... They are consequences, yes, but they are not consequences positive to Kenyans. In fact, they are destructive, in fact, to the detriment of Kenyans, because what is agreed at Bomas is only going to increase our budget, consumption budget. It's not like he has said, that's the point I agree with him. What is coming out of Bomas is only going to widen our wage bill. It's not going to protect our development coffers so that we can have development going on. At the same time, this is something which was eminent. Basically, the demonstrations they went to was not to help Kenyans, because those who were demonstrating were the poor Kenyans, but the rich Kenyans were inside their vehicles. In case tear gas was lodged, they were all going into their vehicles and running away, and the poor ones were remaining consumed tear gas. They consume tear gas, they consume hunger, they're the ones who were with tears on their head, and these ones were, the rich ones were only demonstrating how to put the Sophia. In conclusion, what I would wish to put, this is a government willing to serve. Let it be given time. Like when we talk about the two-third gender, it's when a technical committee is working to guide the government. Let us give them time to work so that the government can get what to implement. Is the finance bill, it was taken to court. It took time to be implemented. It's when it's being implemented. And that's why the deputy president can talk about in the next 6 months, because the finance bill is now operational. When they collect the rents, when they collect the taxes, I'm sure they are now going to put them into use. And I want to tell you here, I'm not promising because I'm not government spokesperson, but I'm saying I talk to the people in government. There is a real intention to deal with corruption. Corruption is a serious menace which has started in our own kitchens. Not even just in our houses. So dealing with corruption is very difficult because it's like rats. You deal with this rat, the other one is running to the left. There are always openings being created. I want to humbly request my fellow panelists that let us also give government opportunity, because we all depend on this government. We cannot vilify our father, yet we all depend on the father for everything we have, the rent, the food, the fees, everything.
Final comments? Start with you.
I think for me, all I can say is that we need to live in Kenya knowing that we do not have any other exit route. In fact, I say, for us to respect Kenya, we need to have all our passports taken away and deposited somewhere so that we know we cannot leave this country. And this is the only country we have, and this is the only country we have to work with. But having said that, let us also tame the greed in some of these people. There's a lot of things that are happening that are not fair to the Kenyans. Kenyans came, there was public participation, especially on finance bill. I don't remember a place when one Kenyan raised their hand and said, we want the cost of electricity to go up. There was no place where Kenyans raised their hands and said they're okay with fuel going up. There's no place where Kenyans raised their hands and said they're okay with more taxation. But the Kenya Kwanza administration went ahead and did exactly the opposite of what was said during public participation when Kenyans were discussing the finance bill. I wish to humbly beg this government to start listening to Kenyans and not to do what they want. And as I said, it is not about how much money, more money they can collect. It's about how well they can spend what they already have. There is enough money in public coffers from what was collected and what was being collected even with the old finance bill. The problem is wastage of public resources. If we can stop wasting public resources, we do not need to tax Kenyans anymore.
Okay, thank you. Finally, very briefly, your final comments.
My final comment is that we give the dialogue committee space and time and goodwill, because for sure, all those submissions were all meant to improve the lives of Kenyans. Let us pray that the protagonist, Raila Odinga and President William Ruto, will work in a more coordinated way for the sake of Kenya and the generations to come. Okay. Let us be tolerant. And I also want to urge the President and the Deputy President to tone down on promises, especially just do an audit of the promises they did before elections, the promises that they have done during their one and a half year in office, and how much of it they have accomplished, and the disappointment that is continually growing. So we don't want to hear timelines, okay, because the timelines they have given us have not worked.
Okay, thank you so much.
So let them just work and stop wastage. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Juliet Kimemia, politician and political analyst, Honorable Kennedy Ondiek, UDA coordinator, South Nyanza region, and Fanyamambo Kinothia, lawyer and political analyst, our panelists this morning as we look at the state of the nation. Thank you so much for your contribution to this debate. And dear viewers, in a moment or so, we'll be crossing over to Kericho, where our colleagues from Radio 47 will be having a sit-down with the Governor for Kakamega County, the Honorable Fernandez Barasa. But before that, I'll have to go through this editorial comment on the Athi River demolitions. What a painful consequence of the shady land deals. Now, the Athi River demolitions of homes built on land belonging to the East Africa Portland Cement Company has sparked a painful and divisive spectacle. That image of a middle-aged man helplessly watching his hard-earned bungalow crumble under the weight of bulldozers is a heartbreaking symbol of a complex issue that has affected countless of families. These demolitions have left many innocent people who believed they were investing in a secure and legal property homeless and devastated. The situation in Athi River is just an example of a larger problem within Kenya's real estate sector. While some of those living on the disputed land may indeed be encroachers, it is evident that a significant number of individuals were unwittingly caught up in the web of unscrupulous land brokers and cartels. These individuals were duped into believing that the land was available for public ownership when, in fact, it was not. Now, many of these victims invested their hard-earned money, often paying exorbitant sums for what they believed were legitimate properties. The existence of a fraudulent market for land deals is a clear indication of a growing cancer in the property market. It raises legitimate questions about the involvement of corrupt individuals, officials, and the need for accountability within the government's ranks. The demolition of these homes in Athi River should be a turning point. It's not just about rectifying past wrongs, but also about ensuring that such incidents do not recur. Even as we urge potential land buyers to be extra vigilant and to conduct due diligence before committing their money, we believe the greater duty of care vests in the government. The government's duty cannot and should not only be to demolish illegal structures, but also to dismantle the shady networks that exploit unsuspecting land buyers. It is the government's duty to restore public confidence in the land market. And that is a TV47 editorial commentary this morning. Let's now cross over to Kakamega, where our colleagues at Radio 47 have a sit-down with the governor of Kakamega County, the Honorable Fernandes Barasa.